recording up on you and catch you guys saying the most insane shit possible. You just know when we're recording. So
I know.
our intros aren't as wild as they used to be. Damn
Yeah.
you, Scotland.
I at least I have an iron brew now though, which is fantastic.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Bring me iron brew, and then I'll forgive you.
Apparently the Saragos in Indy carry them.
Interesting. There is one
I've
right
seen them
by
there
my
actually.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. That's I will happily smuggle more iron brew across the border when I come back to the States.
Let's
So
go.
I have had
Yes.
people in the Discord ask me to make iron brew jelly,
Oh.
which I don't know about that. I know I can make this a syrup because I've done that and put it on like a drizzle on cakes and stuff before. Uh, I just need to make sure I don't make more than what I'm allowed to carry as liquids across the border.
Yeah.
You can take like a liter now, which is crazy.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So me being like, oh no, I can't pack all of these shampoos and hair care and skincare stuff I use and trying to price between the US and the UK to see which ones are cheaper so I know what to pack and what I'm buying over here. Turns out I didn't need to do that.
Womp womp.
Whoops. It's fine. It's fine. I'm doing great over here. So far the boots has been helpful. It's fine. I just I promise I am not brain dead from finishing the Clan Deep Dive series. I promise. I promise I am okay.
No, it's just
fine.
everything else going on in your life.
Yeah, it's everything else. I shouldn't laugh, but I have no better reaction sometimes. You know when we try to do this silly show and I try to cover some things because I'm like, hey, I think this is like thematically interesting and da, 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 da. And then because of the world that I gesture to, they've all become extraordinarily poignant, and I feel like I am an adult now staring at my hands and I don't know what to do.
Yep.
Yeah. This is just a silly vampire game. Why?
It can be both.
It can be both. We can be silly and poignant. That's fine, I suppose. We all put on our inflatable frog suit 1 foot at a time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, hi and welcome to Blank Bodies, a Vampire the Masquerade tabletop horror and vampire podcast. I kind of lost my pacing there, but I'm Hunter, and
It's
I'm
okay.
joined by...
My fingers are stuck. I'm John. I tied my fingers up with a shoelace while we were talking, and then I couldn't get it off. But it's off now.
Yay.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I legit thought you were crocheting.
Oh, just wrapping my fingers up.
You were doing it just below where the camera was, and the way you were like putting your hands together. I unironically was like, okay, John started crocheting. That's adorable.
No, just like tying my fingers up.
Cool. I was totally expecting you to lift your hands and be like, it's a balaclava, guys.
Ooh, that's
like
a fun
that.
idea, actually.
That sounds like something you would do. They do make UV reactive yarn, if that's something you would enjoy.
That's wonderful.
Anyways, speaking of the horrors of the world, we are talking about the Tattered Facade book in more depth. Boof.
Yay!
I would slam my physical copy on the table, but it is currently packed away in a storage unit in the US. So
Yay!
Thank God for PDFs.
Yay.
So, this episode and next episode, we're going to be reviewing the newer additions to the Vampire 5th edition catalog. There's a 3rd book that is on pre-order at the moment. We'll talk about that when that actually releases. So, stay tuned for that one. I, for one, am excited that a book is going to have the Gimp Grandma on it.
Again? Yes.
She was just in the core book. She wasn't on the cover.
I guess that's fair. That's fair.
Our girl got the cover of Vogue.
She graduated.
I'm so excited about that for her. I hate that the only venture I'm excited about is a girl that's just like, what if I put him on a leash? Which is an insane take. So, Tattered Facade, live at the Succubus Club, we're doing Tattered Facade this episode. Basically, we're going to be doing a overview of what the book is, cover some of the tools that I think will be useful for players and storytellers, vibes, layout of the book, thoughts. I'm trying to avoid spoilers for things that storytellers may use because these are newer books. Usually I'm not super big on like, oh my god, spoilers, but these are newer books and there's things in there people might want as surprises, so I'm gonna try and respect that. But if you want to know nothing about the book, don't listen to this episode. Come back later.
Yeah. Or just mute it and walk away. Let this play in the background for
on
us.
repeat.
Yeah.
We're fighting against a horrifying algorithm that I think we are actually getting punished because we don't actually do a video element for our podcast, and I will be fucked to do that.
We're literally all on camera right now, and we're still not doing that.
We're still not recording it.
Nope. We could so easily, but no.
Yeah, no. I could build a little set, put on a little outfit.
Yeah, but then like every time I get up and just walk away to go get a drink because I can hear you even though I'm leaving, it would be on video.
That'd be fine though.
John, that's just ADHD representation.
Okay, fair. Yeah. Since we've been doing this, there have absolutely been times that I'm like behind my chair doing stretches as we record.
I mean, I kind of like that you have the freedom to do that. There was the whole saga of you just being weaponized. Oh shit! I did find my emotional support box cutter. I will take a photo of it. I'll talk about that later. Anyways, content warning for this book specifically: gore, death, violence, and all things that go bump in the night. Hey guys, early tech in the review. We are back, baby, in World of Darkness in terms of, do you want your plot to be fucked up?
This is an actual horror book. This is not.
Yeah.
Darkness.
Oh, it's great. Do you want your shit fucked up, but respectfully?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. We are so back, baby. It's great. This is the book people have been whinging for, and it has arrived, and is, in my opinion, fantastic. So the sources will be just Tattered Facades. I'll make some page references to core book as it comes up. Also, other bonus thing on this book really early on. I deeply appreciate that the newer WAD books are putting in page references to the older material when that shit comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And they're being very consistent about it. I'm just like, oh, thank God. It has made everything so much easier.
If they're not going to reprint it in the book, at the very least, tell us where the fuck it is.
Just be like, it's this book, page blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm stupid.
I mean, I prefer that than having to pay for reprint pages, but...
Oh, for sure. For sure. It's solid. So, what's the deal with Tattered Facade? As we've said, this is the, hi, do you want to play a horror game?
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
I do.
Then, yes, this book, kind of, I'm not going to say is required reading, but there is a bunch of really, really, really good info in here, even if you're somebody who is experienced for running horror games for stuff specifically for this system. So that's like kind of nice. It's a fairly dense book too, so there's a lot of things for inspos and guides and mechanics for doing the ookie spooky, even if, and there's some stuff that I would say, even if you're not specifically running a horror chronicle, if you want to have like a high tension moment, there's also good stuff in here too for that, or other uses. Just good utility book. I'm going to put it up on the shelf right next to the Gehenna War book in terms of utility.
Nice.
So, worth the money, I think. Okay, so now that I've said that, first thing I'm going to be talking about, mechanic discipline flaws. I really like this mechanic. It's an optional thing. You do not have to do it. But I think it balances out the thing I've been doing as a homebrew at my games, where I've let people buy multiple disciplines at levels they already have dots in, but you still have to pay the cost of doing it and going through the process. But it's like, yeah, if you want to, I've been running the, hey, if you want to have multiples, you could do that. You just still have to pay the XP and whatever. And so far that's been fairly balanced. This is a little twist on this, and I think I kind of like this better than what I've been doing. So, discipline flaws allow players to buy more spots within a discipline that they already have sunk dots into. But to balance this out, it's at the cost of taking a flaw associated with the discipline you're doing this in.
Cool.
So,
actually, I really like this idea.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Already.
So, once a character reaches their third dot in a discipline, they may, with the storyteller's consent, take on what is called the ingrained discipline flaw. If you go through pages 108 and 109, there's all the info there for it. This allows for the purchase of one additional power per level at the appropriate cost of that power. The way that the dots are spread out in the book that they would prefer you to do this as is you can get 3 more disciplines at level 1, you can get 1 level 2, 1 level 1, or an additional 1 at level 3. This does not affect your overall discipline rating, which is kind of how I've been doing mine as well. So if you bought up to the 3rd dot and you decide to get 1 more additional 3, you don't magically bump to 4. You'd still have to spend the dots to get to the 4th level to unlock all that. The caveat is you can only do this once.
Okay.
So in the book, they're like, yeah, you can only do this for 1 discipline. I might storytell with since the flaws for the various disciplines are narratively interesting, and if you really want to explore a character that's like really delving into their vampire powers and how that kind of corruption can like fuck with somebody physically and mentally, I'd say maybe let them do it
Why
more than
not?
once. Yeah. They're still spending the XP for it like normal, and they're taking on additional flaws. So it's one of those like, if that's what you're cozy with, that storyteller and a player table group, go for it. I kind of like the system better than what I've been doing, so I might be integrating this more now in games I run. So hell yeah.
I'm cool with this. I'm looking at
Hell yeah.
some of them right now, actually.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Is there any
pretty
that you're
neat.
excited about?
I mean, the first one looked pretty cool. I haven't looked through a lot of them, but the first one's pretty cool. Animalism. It's untamed. And essentially, if you don't ride the beast for frenzies, you take 2 stains.
Get fucked.
Yeah. It's just like, no, you have to just kind of let the beast do its thing, bud, because you're so ingrained in animalism. That's cool.
Yeah. So lots of cool storytelling options with this mechanic. I like it. There's also a bunch of new compulsions if you go to page 18 and 19, or 118, 119. These will give more options in the form of how your beast reminds the character that you're just a monster, you're just a fucked up guy, and you should totally just rip them in half, because fuck it.
Oops.
Whoopsie poodle.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend if you're a storyteller, the pages 118, 119, flag those, make copies of them and stick them in your core book, have a reference sheet, like, because this basically gives you 8 total base compulsions to fuck with, including, and then each character's clan will have their own different clan compulsion, which is fun because sometimes the 4 base compulsions do cover a lot of story options, but I feel it's a little limited. So I've taken into making up compulsions to yes and certain situations. So here's more options that I'm like, these are neat.
Yeah.
Some of these are specifically fucked up. Hurt your players with them, please. Other mechanical thing that I'm like, thank God for this. Thank you. On page 49, there's updated resonance tables.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yes. So this accounts particularly for people that are dealing with null resonances.
That's been like a kind of a difficult one to run, it feels like, for a lot of people. So it's neat that they're switching that up a bit.
Yeah. So there is the Hunt for Oblivion sections, page 48 and 49, covers options to consider for Lasombra and Hakata characters that are choosing to feed upon people and actually understand how truly rare the void resonance is. Basically, in the table, if you're rolling randomly to decide what humans in an area have what resonances, the table suggests if you roll on a 9 or a 10, roll again. If it rolls 9 or 10 again, then that person actually has the null resonance.
Interesting.
So it's
not easy to find.
No. It's almost like humans are emotional creatures, and a human not having emotions is a problem.
Yeah. We should be doing that, feeling stuff. Yeah.
So I like that is an option. They also have a note in that section that that some Hekata scholars refer to mortals that have a void resonance in the form of an acute resonance, something that would cause a dyscrasia, as a shadow scar.
Cool.
Yeah, which I'm like, that's metal.
Yeah.
They suggest this might be a sign of this mortal having had some interaction crossing the veil or some other terrible elemental force like that. So if you got a little guy that's got a near-death experience, they've gone to the Shadowlands and came back.
They might still be kind
Spooky.
of feeling some sort of way, but the Lasombra are still like,
Yeah.
oh, they've got it.
Yeah. So if you want to write a chronicle where it's like you start with your mortals and then how they become vampires, kind of a thing. If you have a guy that's, maybe fucking with a cult shit that he's not supposed to, and he's had some interactions that maybe left some stains upon his soul, the Lasombra and the Hakata might just start showing up. Which I hate for you. Which I hate for you. That's awful. What I had another note. Where did it go? There it is. While the Void Resonant should be incapable of forming a dyscrasia, an ST may want to include them as a heightened supernatural element in their story, or to balance out characters based on clans. That's kind of a play it by ear situation. It's like this isn't supposed to happen. So if you have this in your game and you want to include it, this might be a way to tip things into more horrifying implications if you so desire. Also, there is a table for resonances that include the other disciplines that have issues connecting with resonances because they rely on either no resonance or they're based off of like animal blood. So animalism and protean.
Yeah.
So there's an alt table in this section as well. So if you're somebody that's like, hey, I'm not super interested in a chronicle where we're doing harm to animals, or you've written a story in a way where somebody has animalism, but for some reason you're not spending time in nature for whatever reason, and you don't want that character to get like royally fucked over, there's a guide table with options about what resonances might work instead.
Nice.
And some role play instructions on like, hey, if you want to lean into these kinds of things, you could also lean into how aspects of these resonances also lean into the discipline that's tied to it. So there are some now little threading connecting branches for people that are just like, I would like to use this more, but this mechanic doesn't apply to my characters very well. Too bad, asshole, now they do. Huzzah. So story thing with mechanic that I fucking love, that I'm so glad is now in this book, is the Predation Cycles.
Interesting.
So that covers pages 29 through 48. So basically the Predation Cycles can be used to spotlight a character, spotlight narrative themes, introduce new NPCs, foreshadow plot, add tension, and teach about like resonance hunting and a bunch of other options.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, Predation Cycles, these are hunting scenes that will focus on a particular character in your table for a scene, and it'll have two parts. And each part will have an associated role to go with it. The summary table for this is on 48, and there's also detailed random tables for each predator type, including stalking, vibes, feeding inspos. Things that if you as a player want to get more information on like how my predator type should be manifesting, or if you want to add flavor text as a storyteller and you're not sure where to go, this has a bunch of good information. So I did want to note, because it's noted in the book, characters are not locked into a specific pool per part of predator type. So if you're doing a predation cycle and your predator type is X, but a situation due to the roles in the first part of the scene forces you to do hunting in a different way, you're not locked into that pool that's associated with your predator type. You can pick the better pool if you want. Or if you want to lean in and have the less advantageous pool for narrative reasons, you're also welcome to do that. Also, predator types do not lock your character into feeding in only one way. So you can have predator types are basically just how your character prefers to do things, and it's why your character leans a certain way in their build. But just because you're somebody that likes fucking pasta does not mean every meal you eat is fucking pasta.
Right.
So you can be in a situation where it's like, oh yeah, you have a character whose predator type is alley cat, but you're in a situation where they can't like set up a stalk and ambush situation. They're in a social setting. It could
they
be
can't
a
just
fun
look like somebody mugged this person because they can't just beat them up because they're at the club.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean,
this
that's
could
what
get
the
into like
bathroom's for.
Fair.
Yeah, well, you could end up in a situation where you're exploring more like social horror of like a, hey, you have this person who's very socially not good in this situation. Now they have to navigate something, navigate a social situation where they are like, I can't solve this problem with violence.
Right.
So it's just the
How do
people are hell. People are hell. Oh no.
I
Or,
am a
you know,
hammer.
I am a hammer and everything in here is China.
What do I do?
What do I do? So there's that. There's also try to navigate like how do you turn a social situation into a physical confrontation in a way that works for you could also be another fun,
Hmm.
tense kind of adventure. Or you could have the alley cat character just lean into it and just be like, yeah, I'll seduce the bartender, sure.
Let's go for it.
Yeah. And that could be an interesting character highlight moment of just like the, oh shit, he does have game. Why do you have game? John, why does Piatra have game? This is bullshit.
I don't understand it either.
So
I don't understand it.
it's so funny. Anywho, so with the predation cycles, you get two parts. You get the stalk, which is the first half of the sequence. This is choosing the hunting ground / whatever is ideal for your character or whatever sequence they're in. The role for this will typically be an attribute and a skill versus a difficulty set by the storyteller. The difficulty will go up by 1 if you have a prey exclusion. I might suggest if you have multiple prey exclusions, that's a +1 per.
Yeah.
But that also could just depend on the situation and the scene and how those prey exclusions stack on each other. Uh, you can play that by ear, but if you want to make it hurt more, here's a good opportunity to. Also, if you have a Ventrue that you're running this sequence with, you will be adding their Bane severity to the difficulty unless they've put an effort into selecting or cultivating their hunting grounds. This can be represented through background dots or a roll to determine success on this before the stock roll.
Love it.
That's what the book said specifically. I might want to have a similar problem with like your Nosferatu, or if you have characters that have particularly low humanity, and if their hunting ground is like a particularly human-filled social place,
Yeah.
might want to consider that as
If your
adding to a
Nasi was
difficulty.
trying to go to Broad Ripple during Friday night, might be
Yeah, it's
kind of
like
difficult.
yeah, it's like your Nosferatu might typically have a +1 difficulty, or if you want to also mirror the Ventrue thing and add their Bane severity, because they're a fucked up little guy, because they're cursed by God. Yeah, absolutely, chuck that on there. But if it's like around Halloween time,
Right.
maybe that goes away.
Hmm.
uh, your game is set somewhere near a theme park, and there's like a horror thing and they just go to the theme park instead. I don't know. I'm trying to think of reasons.
Haunted houses.
Haunted houses. Uh, they start wearing a mask and leaning into being a like thirst trap poster on Kink Talk. I don't know. You got options. So, if you succeed on the stock roll, which is like setting up your hunting scene, you will proceed to the feeding sequence. If this roll is a critical win, the stock will grant a bonus die on the feeding roll in the next chunk. If the roll fails, that means there's no opportunities for feeding found, and the scene kind of just peters out. Oh no, there's a baby.
Digging her claws into my neck.
On her butthole
No.
right in your face.
Yep.
See, this is
Thanks,
why we
Curbs.
shouldn't have the cameras on.
Yeah.
We need to protect Kirby's dignity.
Yeah. She certainly doesn't.
No. So yeah, if you fail the roll, no feeding opportunities present. I would suggest if you have a bestial fail on this, someone in the scene has taken notice of the character involved. The grounds either just don't have any opportunities for feeding, but the player has no ID, so they just proceed on. Like they could, and their difficulty is like stupid high on the next scene, and just like, all right, you don't know.
Hmm.
You can chuck a compulsion at them, something.
I really like the idea of like someone there noticing them and being like, even if it's just like oh, that dude's being a fucking creep. Like,
Mhm.
why does he keep just like lingering around the bathrooms? I don't like that. You know, report him
Yeah.
to the bouncer, and then it's a whole thing.
reports him to the bouncer, or they snap a photo of him and start posting on social media like, hey, if you see this creepy guy at the bar.
Yeah, watch out for him. I mean, would you say it would be kind of breaking it up a little bit, like breaking the rule up a little bit, if you said bestial failure is, yeah, they find somebody, but this is not going to be like a clean feeding?
That could be an option that I would maybe chalk on like a compulsion, like a harm compulsion, maybe. Something like that. Other option would be they find somebody. This is me being a dick as a storyteller. You got a bestial fail, and I'll go, okay, cool. Yeah, you do find somebody. You're able to get in. You're able to feed. Nothing goes wrong.
Turns out they're
I
second
make a
in
note.
position.
Yeah, or they're like, the sheriff's niece.
Yeah.
They're the boyfriend of the local like Giovanni hitman.
Love it.
Yeah, just somebody's touchstone. Just make it somebody's touchstone. Make it a party member's touchstone.
Oof.
Yeah. It's just like oh no. It's like I could have given you the details that they were there and you could have avoided them, but unfortunately the bestial fail and you were hungry and they were convenient. So whoops. There's also the rule for winning at a cost, which means that you can do the feeding, but something has to go wrong and difficulty will be added to the feeding roll in the next scene. So if somebody rolls a regular fail and they want to proceed to the feeding, chuck in some of these complications we've discussed.
Somebody walks in on them.
Oh, yes, the worst. It's their mom.
Mom, no.
Yeah. I didn't see any notes for anything on a messy crit in this situation, but if you want to do some combo of what we've also discussed for a messy crit, go for it. Tons of options. So, the feed, which is the test that will represent the character's ability to hunt cleanly, quote unquote, in a world full of live complications. So it's like you got everything set up, you've knelt down, you've done your kitty butt wiggle, now you're gonna pounce.
Pounce.
So, if you succeed on the feeding roll, that means the character's able to get access to victims, brackets, easily, everything is good, you get your food, you get in, you get out, wham bam, thank you ma'am. If you succeed on the roll, the player does get to choose how much blood they take, up to and including draining completely.
Damn.
So this is
that's good.
Technically a social consequence free way of ensuring that you're able to get down to like hunger zero for a situation. But it's kind of balanced out by you have to go through all these steps and you're getting to role play a solo scene at the table. So it's like a spotlight's on you, buddy. Don't fuck it up.
Or do. That can be fun.
Or do. If you get a critical win, you also get access to an intense resonance. The ST will roll an additional D10. On a success, the resonance has an acute dyscrasia.
Oh.
So if you want to give your player a little golden egg goose nugget of extra bonus powers and abilities, the You Are What You Eat section in the V5 core book has more details on all of that. And we also have a resonance episode if you want to go listen to that too for more info.
You probably should. Just saying.
Totally.
Yeah.
Winning at a cost will mean that the character can feed as above, but some sort of issue that cannot be discovered until after the scene is over happens.
The Giovanni hitman's girlfriend, or turns out the doors to the bathrooms are heavily cameraed. Not inside, because that'd be creepy, but
you lost your wallet. Something as simple as that. I love giving complications that are just simple little mundane things that don't seem like a big deal, but actually you are so fucked.
Yeah.
You accidentally butt dialed in the middle of the feeding scene and somebody heard you. Give me your list of contacts. We're gonna roll and see who it was. Whoops. If you get a total failure on the feed roll, this gives only complications and no feeding.
Oh, dang.
Oof. Come on now.
Now, this can range from something small and annoying to a fragment to a wider problem. It's suggested that a regular total fail shouldn't be catastrophic on its own, asterisk, unless the player is doing something that's going to make it worse.
Fair.
Like, it seems like the balance point is like cause them problems and grief, but you do not have to TPK them in this scene. But if they want to Mr. Bean follies their way through the situation and keep making it worse, I guess that's on the player. I can't account for that.
I'm very pro Mr. Bean, first of all.
I mean, yeah.
If your character gets a bestial fail on this feeding roll in the predatory cycle, they get only complications. There is no feeding, but this complication must be big.
Uh-oh.
This needs to be an actual problem. They may have been spotted by an important figure. They may have been recorded feeding, something that can be traced to you specifically. This may not cause an immediately in the scene problem, but it needs to cause massive issues of some sort.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, having a lot of complications that are time bombs for future player character problems. Fantastic. We love that. You could also just make this a massive problem right now. Get fucked. It's a bestial fail. Do what you gotta do.
Yeah, have fun with it. Go wild.
Go wild. Or, just being like,
I
hey,
really like the idea of, oops, you accidentally snagged an SI agent. Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a really good meal, but
you attempt to feed on this guy, but unfortunately, in your struggle to grab them, you set their gun off. So, good luck. Because if we're running with skippers, it's an SI agent. Turns out it's a Rothus pistol, so now you need to roll a fire frenzy check.
Whoops.
I can't believe you made that guy set off his gun in the Applebee's. What the fuck?
That's Applebee's. That's not that off-putting.
I know, but why are we burning down the bees, man?
Yeah, the fire, that's different. Just a gun going off in an Applebee's, who cares?
I was expecting this attitude more with a Waffle House. Damn.
No, you
listen,
throw fists at
$5
Waffle
margaritas.
House.
That's fair. We have honor at the Waffle House. It is only fists.
And the Applebee's cocktails are like half sugar too, so like everyone's just already tweaked out, even if they're not that drunk. Their sugar buzzing like crazy.
And there is actually a note for Messy Crit, which is run this similar to a bestial fail, except the character does get to feed.
Nice.
Just oh no. But if you want your hunger to go down to 0, sure, bud.
You got it.
You got it. The Applebee's is on fire, and I am going to make you roll that frenzy check. I love being a menace. So, other things that I enjoyed. I really enjoyed there's a whole swath of NPC options and antagonists, which I fucking love. It's so good. I can't gush about this too much because I gave myself the caveat of I'm trying to not spoil shit. But the section living brackets for now, pages 11 through 21, have a bunch of different mortal archetypes that I think are good for if you need to quickly make a background for a player character or an NPC, or you just need to pull a guy who's going to be a problem just out of thin air. Good little reference section. Love this. Each little section will give a blurb on how the character should work in the world, gives a stat block, and also gives a special note on what could happen when the player characters interact with them.
Cool.
Which are some really fun mechanics that I'm like, hey, storytellers, grab these mechanics, make yourself a little chart. I'm doing that for myself, and just keep this in your ST binder. Just keep them handy. These are super useful. There's also suggestions on various mortals that could be up and about during any part of an evening on pages 22 to 23, which I understand seems like a silly chart, but I have to remember, most people are not night owls. And they maybe don't know who is up and about during a third shift.
Fair.
So it's
good.
Oh
my god,
I'd
love the idea if you just show up to someone's house to interrogate them, to feed, to whatever, and you didn't know that they just ordered DoorDash. Halfway through your feeding, the doorbell rings. There's somebody there.
Oh no!
Fucking Chinese food.
Worst case for a Sandman is like, I've broken into this house. I'm getting my nighttime sip. There's a knock at the door. Now you have to stand there holding the bag of fucking burritos so the DoorDash guy can get his photo to prove that he did his delivery and fuck off.
The worst.
Now there's documentation you've been at this house.
Whoops.
Whoopsie poodle.
double worse if you're a La Sombra.
Oh yeah.
Actually, that's one of those
Shadowy
times where
blob.
that flaw might work out for you.
Depending on who's looking at that photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of thing that gets like posted on like slash X.
Yeah.
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 Oh
right.
yeah. There's some Reddit board that's like cursed images.
Yeah, and then you're on it.
You're on it, and then there's
Holding
like
a
that whole branch
DoorDash
of
bag full of burritos.
Yeah, you end up on a Reddit page for cursed photos, right next to like the photo of Rich Evans wearing the Dick the Birthday Boy shirt, and
Perfect.
turns out a branch of the Second Inquisition has been trawling Reddit for data on supernaturals, and now you're in the database. Oh no.
Yay.
Whoops.
Whoops. I love the surveillance state we live in. It totally is normal and fantastic, and this game is not set up to be fantastic commentary and or highlighting the horrors of the techno future that we live in. Woo!
Yeah.
If you need to find other little humans for your game randomly, there's also a table with random residents on page 55. So there's just so many pages of you just need guys, you just need bodies, you need NPCs. If you need them on the fly, it's helpful. I also just find these to be fun little references when you're trying to pre-plan.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you're just like, I like a random table. I think it helps with doing creativity things because it gets you outside of your little box.
Agreed.
So little things. I didn't finish writing this line. Whoops, my bad. So within the living for now, I do want to note that there are mortal necromancer cultists and there's also necrophiles.
Oh.
Just in this section. Seemed appropriate to point that out because we just wrapped Hakata month, but also content warning on the necrophilia. Like, it was like you're reading things and there's like, okay, there's cool stuff for like, oh, it's immortal, like bloggers stuff. You kind of like, okay, this makes sense for like humans interacting with World of Darkness. And then I got to that section and was just like, oh.
It still makes sense for humans interacting with World of Darkness, but goddamn.
Does. It does. I just read that and was like, oh, we're back, baby. Oh. Anyone who says that V5 doesn't have the edginess of Old World, I'm like, no, not true. So there's that. There's also a bunch of information on supernatural entities that are antagonistic in nature. I don't want to spoil. There is the section on the Bali. I know we've talked about it in the show before, so I'm not going to get too into that, but I really enjoy how the Bali are being handled now. There is one little supernatural guy, though, I want to talk about. It is a Thin Blood creation. I think it's so fucking great. It's called a Saraimu. It sounds like a Pokemon, because it kind of is.
Interesting.
But it's a horrifying Pokemon, which I stopped fucking with Pokemon after Gen 2, and I recently had to get reintroduced to a bunch of the newer Pokemon, and I'm like, some of these guys are fucked up.
Yeah.
There's that one
like Drifloon.
Yeah, that's what I said, the one that kidnaps children. Like, it's just a cute little guy. Oh.
It's a Pokemon that doesn't like heavy children, because they're harder to kidnap.
So it's body phobic, like, too.
Yeah. Well, there's also the little candle that you're just like, oh, it's a cute little ghost candle. And it's like, no, it is burning your life force to sustain itself. And I'm like, wait, what?
Brutal.
What is this candle? He's like, I just want to help. And I'm like, you are a fucking liar. Which honestly, if you want, I dare somebody to stick Drifloon in their goddamn VTM game and don't say shit.
I would probably wait for us to get C5. I feel like that's when that kind of stuff comes in.
Oh, yeah. You could put the little candle, though. I feel like the candle would work.
Yeah. I feel like Changeling's going to give us the weird rules we need for, like, feeding off people's life force and shit, though.
Yeah. It has started with a Thin Blood. So, the Saraimu. This is a sentient blob of thin blood alchemical slime that serves either its creator or the vampires whose blood it's made from. So it's vampire flubber.
Hell yeah, blood slime. I'm in.
Okay.
Yes.
You had me at blood slime.
Yeah. So considering the blob requires the blood of 3 vampires, including the alchemist, so at minimum it's the alchemist and 2 other vampires, this blob will have at least 3 dads.
Love it.
And or moms. If you want to Look, if your polycool desperately needs to have a pet,
Oh
you
no.
can have this.
Yeah,
I
why
have this
not the
suppose.
blood
blob.
slime?
Why not? Why not the blob child? Uh, so this blob is roughly the size of an American football with a mouth containing many rows of tiny sharp teeth.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of loving him more.
Oh, it's cute, but also get fucked.
Yeah.
Its personality is based on the vampires who contributed blood. I will repeat that line once John gets back.
I saw his camera freeze, and I was hoping he'd reconnect, but instead,
No,
um,
we lost our
he
boy,
just slowly disappeared right as we are talking about blood slime, which is unfortunate.
which is unfortunate. I love this little guy. It's so dumb, but I also need to stick it in every campaign.
I'm back,
Hi, Jen.
baby.
Oh, you're good. I will start over. So the personality of the blood blob is based on the personalities of the vampires who contributed blood to the blob and is capable of simple speech and tasks.
I want one, I think.
Yeah. The blob yearns to return to the bodies from which it spawned and will attempt to do so even while the vampire sleeps.
What?
Unless it has a task to perform, the blob does not sleep.
So you just got to keep this thing busy or it's going to burrow its way back into you?
Mm-hmm.
Does that hurt?
Yeah,
does that
because
just
it
mean
eats
you have
its
to
way
redo
in.
it?
It eats its way back into you.
Oh, it eats its way back in. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just need to give it a very complicated task or one
just
that takes a
series
very
of
long
simple
time.
ones. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Assemble this Rube Goldberg machine to pour me a glass of blood when I wake up.
Give it one of those puzzles where it's like the slow change of gradient of all the colors.
It's not got hands. Oh no.
The Saraimu does have a lifespan. The lifespan for it is not terribly long, so you kind of have to keep redoing it or come up with a reason. That could be a whole thing. Is just the Blood Alchemist just keeps trying to make longer lived Saraimus because it loves these little fuckers.
Love it.
These little horror bastard children. I did want to note, if the alchemist dies before the blob would die, the blob knows how to sustain itself for a period of time. And hopefully it will do so long enough to bury itself into another alchemist to live out the rest of its life cycle.
Whoa. I love that.
So if the thin blood dies, it will look for a new dad.
Aww.
And I'm just like, this is really cute. Also, what the fuck? I'm sorry, I just love this little fucking weird, like, what the fuck is this?
It's so good. It's so good. I want a little blob blob with teeth.
Yeah, fucking, it has the attitude of your characters though, so it might just decide, like, if your character just doesn't like another character enough, the blob might growl and try to attack the other person. If you want.
You just use your blob as a litmus test. You just bring everybody over, and it's the ones that it growls at. You're like, all right, well, I probably won't be hanging out with that person anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good
or
test,
if you want to get
honestly.
really creepy with it, if your character is like obsessed with another character, the blob will constantly try to find that other person and bury itself into them as well.
That's good.
And you're just like, no, stop, child, no.
Or you just let it loose in someone you don't like's house.
Truly. You ever seen what happens to a house when you just let a raccoon loose?
Now pretend it's blood.
I don't think the blood blob is going to piss on the insulation as much.
Maybe.
I look, if you want to cast your blood blob to have a little bladder, that's on you, man.
I feel like that's going to get way more complicated than just a sentient blob. Like, you're adding whole new functions, biological functions to something that doesn't really need it because it sustains off of itself. Like, it just needs more blood. It's a very simple ecosystem we've got here, and you're complicating it.
I can't account for other someone's house choices.
Listen, alchemists are weird people sometimes.
Look, you have your blob, but you get close to the end of its life cycle, and then you just let it loose into the walls of somebody's haven that you don't like.
So it just dies in there.
It dies in there and rots in the walls.
Beautiful.
We're terrible. Okay.
You could just do that with animalism too. I'd like to say, if that was your goal, you could just put the raccoons in someone's walls. Like, you don't have to create the sentient blood monster. You just have a swarm of rats, and you'd be like, well, go there.
I'm just saying, if you have the blob monster and you're petty, there are options.
That's fair.
And maybe you don't have animalism. You just have the blob monster, you know? Then you'd have to get a favor from someone who has animalism. Nobody wants that.
Rude, first off. But But yeah, if you want other ooky spooky creatures, there's the Night Terrors sections, 141 to 153, which has a variety of mortals, immortals, and spiritual entities that you can use in your chronicles. That is a section that has the updated Bali, and other just some of these guys just a little fucked up. Some of them you're just like, I personally don't want to fuck with this. I'm so good. I'm so good. No.
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 Yeah. Which is also, hey guys, if you like running stuff not vampire, this is also just a good section to have for like hunter and werewolf. I'm just throwing that out there. This book has crossover appeal.
I was gonna say this book would be super handy for a hunter chronicle.
There's also the systems for districts. So between pages 24 and 29, it reads very similar to like the homesteading system from Chicago by Night, but it's a lot simpler to do. So if that's something that you're like, I liked the idea of this, but there was just a lot of rules that I didn't want to fuck with, districts. The district system's kind of fantastic for that. Basically, each district is what makes up a city. We all kind of intuitively do this, where we have like the West Side or Chinatown or the Garment District or the Gables or like different chunks of boroughs in like New York, like there's Greenwich Village and all that kind of shit. We do this. Just think of that, but now there's some mechanics for it. Each district should have its own difficulty rating for feeding for the predation cycles. Just keep that little note somewhere in your ST notes, along with some sort of environmental mechanical effect. Note, district hunting ratings do not stack with a domain's chase, which is the thing that allows you to do feeding when you do a coterie sheet. But other factors can affect the lean and portillon of your domain. So you can have districts that intersect in your domain. More times than not, for player characters, your domain will exist in a district. The districts are basically a mechanical way to help players more intuitively understand how their city runs and functions, who exists in what areas, and through gameplay should be able to learn and figure out like what actions have benefits and difficulties in what parts of the city that they exist in.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a way to like help things feel a little bit more lived in and give character to the city that you exist in, because the city should be a character unto itself in your game. We have episodes about city building if you want more details on that. Woo!
You should probably go listen to them. Probably.
You probably should. We did also start the city building channel in our community Discord, so people have been sharing different things they've been doing for their city builds for their home games. So if you have questions, comments, concerns about that kind of shit,
come hang out.
Go hang out. The district system is, I think, just useful in general, but it slips into this really good system that honestly I think is really good during character creation. I honestly think people should just be doing this, even if they're not running a horror game. It's a system called Night Maps. So this is an optional additional rule set for character creation. Basically, this will be considered a extra step you do in session 0. So you're either going to have a really big session 0, or you have a session like 0.5 between session 0 and your actual first session to do this.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's going to be a, I think it's a good way to help like players learn about the setting they're getting into. It'll help people like slide into their characters a bit more and get kind of a feel. And also it's kind of a good way to workshop like character interparty, like character dynamics before you actually like get to the game. So helpful for that. I think this system works a little bit better for street level stories if you're running a Vampire Chronicle where it's big politics and big machinations. There's a system that I think would work better for that that's in the Camarilla book that we can do a whole episode on later, where it's more like institutional combat and rules, but that's not what we're doing here. If you want to do bigger game, that's a different episode. This is more street level shit. So for what you're gonna do to start this is each of you is gonna pick a district. It's suggested in the book to pick something that the coterie has a part of their domain in, and this could be the place where they have a lot of attachments or business in. Okay. So I think it'd be good for each character to pick something, but try to figure out one that you all agree on.
So everyone gets a little bit.
Yeah. So it's also like, because of the collaborative storytelling nature of the game, you might have an idea, but somebody else might have an idea that like might actually work better for the group. So it's a good time to hash that out. Whatever district you decide to pick that your coterie will be focusing on, this will go in the center of your relationship map with all of the characters like surrounding it.
Cool.
Yes. So that's how that goes. Then you'll be picking sites. So each character will pick a location that is their preferred feeding ground within the district. The book suggests that you should start at the top left of the relationship map and go clockwise through the relationship map, but I trust you guys to pick whatever system you're going to do.
Try to be consistent.
Yeah, it'd be easier to be consistent. But if you guys decide you want to Rochambeau, rock, paper, scissors, or you want to start with a different character each time and then go around clockwise, you have options. The site that will be selected can be inside or outside of your domain if you want. It's if you're going to pick something outside of your domain, I think that leads to interesting story elements, but will have complications. So you kind of need to weigh the pros and cons of that, because you could, if everybody wants to be really invested in the district and like have a lot of focus on that, that's fine. If you have a player that wants to be a little contrarian or is an outsider, and this picking their site outside of the domain could be a good way to highlight that kind of shit. Also, depending on what your domain ratings are with your coterie setup, you guys just might not have the space to have your site. Not everyone's going to be able to have their hunting grounds be in the domain within your district. It might still be in your district, but it might be like a couple of blocks down from where your shared haven or shared business is.
Right.
Or, God forbid, your hunting ground happens to be in the domain of your rival, or it's in the domain of somebody that, like, you want to get in good with, but they won't give you the time of day. So, there's options there. I don't know your character's individual stories. Pick what works for you.
That's also how you tie feeding into the larger plot. Oh, you just went to get food, run and scene. Oh wait, you might just happen to see your rival.
You could see your rival. You've
noticed he's been going to the same little shop every night.
Yeah. Or, it could be your feeding ground is where another character's like touchstone works. So a character might have opinions about that. We love inter-party drama. And by we, I mean mostly me. John, did you get ice cream?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. I looked away. I look back. You're wrapped in a blanket eating ice cream.
A little hot, a little cold.
I told you, recording at my desk at home gives me too much power.
It's fantastic. So, the sites that you pick should be places where the characters can interact with each other. The interactions do not have to be more friendly or less friendly. You can decide how that goes. But it should be things that like give your characters reasons to work together or interact together. So, how do I say this in the way that makes the most sense? That was the book's suggestion. I'm okay if somebody were to pick a site that, like, one person in the coterie picks a site that's like way further away from the domain from everybody else because they're like, I have a deep dark secret, or I'm embarrassed about this, or whatever the fuck reason. But do that understanding that means that your coterie is going to want to investigate your fucking secret. So, I'm not saying don't do things like that, but if you do understand that now you've set up a plot reason for your storyteller to go, I now need to shove the other coterie mates towards your hidey hole. So you've now forced a point of connection that you as a player might be interested in or not, but your character probably is not going to be happy about. And most folks I know find that kind of story interesting. There's some folks who get kind of like that's not their bag for whatever reason. I don't know your table. I don't know who's comfortable with what, but that's what you're setting up. So even if you're just like, I'm going to avoid this by doing something sneaky, and it's like, no, you're not.
Right.
Yeah.
You'll get away with it for a little bit.
Pick sites that are going to be narratively interesting for you guys to explore. And ones that are fitting within the boundaries of the table, because I would think it would suck if somebody's like hey, I have a thing against seeing harm against animals, and somebody's like, I've decided to pick a butchery as my site, and I'm like, dude, the fuck?
Well,
Is there a reason you did this? Like, why? Understand? Yeah, that just, not great. So connections. With all the sites, you're going to draw a line from each character to their chosen site on the relationship map. Note down the character's thoughts on the site and what the people from that site would think of their character.
Okay.
So you're kind of building in some reputation into the city on how your character interacts with people. So that choose wisely. Choose what's going to work for you narratively in a way that's interesting. You'll also be drawing lines that connect supporting NPCs to each site that has been written down as needed. Not every NPC you have as a connection to your character needs to be connected to your site, and in fact, NPCs that are connected to other player characters in your coterie might connect to the site you chose better than anybody you chose. So this is a fun way to build connections between the party members. Oh my god. So next will be you draw lines connecting any character sires that exist to your sites if applicable.
So my Fang Daddy gave me my art gallery, which is my site. So we need to then tie him to the art gallery as well.
Yes. Yeah, so the people at the art gallery might be like, oh yeah, we hold, it's like, oh yes, this guy who's like a prestigious art critic has funded this new gallery. The people are really psyched on it. And your sire could be like, oh yes, I've increased my influence, or just like, I need my child to quit being a fuck up.
Please run the gallery correctly.
Ugh, you're embarrassing me.
This is my third gallery you've put under.
How do you keep bankrupting casinos? How? The entire business model. Okay. The entire business model is people come in, they give you money that statistically you should be pocketing, and then they leave. How do you keep doing this?
I like fountains. I'm sorry.
I like fountains. No! It's like, you can't fuck. How do you keep blowing all the money on hookers and blow? Just...
I'm hungry.
God damn it. And if you decide narratively to have your coteries sires know each other and you want to make those notes on the map, go for it. I just think that's
like
funny.
Having exes know each other. It's almost worse.
I'm just saying, I have been playing in a Chronicle recently where people in my coterie have had relationships with my sire, and it has been very funny.
Oh no.
We have been arguing in character, and then they'll just make a comment of like, well, I'll fuck your dad. And I'm just like, I told you to stop doing that.
That's gross.
He is a bad person. He is a bad person. And every time you hook up with him, he uses that as an excuse to try and pull me back into the church. Stop.
I don't want to go to church.
No. I got out of the cult. Why are you trying to get me back in? I thought we were friends. So, yeah.
We're not friends. We're family.
So, yeah, just that just network of bullshit alone during character creation, I feel super fun, totally worth it. Now you get the extra fun of, okay, you put in all this work, why are we doing this? There's now the mechanic of a tour. So a tour, quote unquote, is basically a slice of unlife scene that a player character goes on that is not connected to the main storyline.
Huh. Cool.
So the book suggests starting in the top left corner and cycling clockwise through the map. You do whatever system you're going to choose. Each player chooses, in turn, a site that they wish to run for a vignette for the tour. Once the site is chosen, you're going to choose a question to explore during your scene. Page 53 lists a bunch of example questions, but I think you can choose your own. The intensity of the questions rated on a scale of 1 to 3. So like the more secret, the more juicy gossip, the more kind of tension and drama the question could unveil equals more dots. Which means each dot you'll be doing a roll, succeed or fail to answer the question. It's basically you're running a series of memoriams is kind of what it is.
Okay.
So it's baby memoriams. I think this is super fun. And much like a memoriam, when you're doing the tours, if there are NPCs that will exist in the site, the other players are welcome to pick up those NPCs to like play them out in the scene, so people aren't just sitting around. And Could be an excuse or a way for people to interject extra little NPCs into the pre-build of your story if you need.
Love it.
So super fun there. The book suggests leaning towards named NPCs that are on the relationship map already, and being ready with some stat blocks for players for reference in case there is a role that comes up during the scene before you do this. So it's like a little bit of storyteller prep.
I'm gonna punch Greg.
Yeah. So if you want to do this during session 0, I'm gonna say prepare session 0 to be long.
Probably
I
like a full session, like
Yeah.
actual session.
Yeah. If you would rather do this in 2 parts, which is something I probably would be doing, that gives your storyteller time to make like little stat blocks. If you need that shit, I usually recommend having like at least base stat blocks for named NPCs that are on the relationship map because they should be important to the chronicle. They're on the fucking map.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there for right now. To establish the difficulty for the tour, review page 53 for the category of question. Easier questions will have 1 check to complete, and more difficult questions will have 2 or 3 checks. There's a little reference guide, but to play things at the according of speed of your game as needed. You're the storyteller. I trust you to make good choices. There is a note of the goals of these scenes is not to engage with the major conflict right now. You're setting up problems for future characters to deal with, or establishing long-running conflicts that will give the players more to use with their story stats.
Cool.
So this is like prequel, you're setting things up. The goal is not to go in and immediately fuck everything up and kill everybody in the site, and now the site is useless.
Whoops.
So, while you're exploring, I would suggest maybe don't go into this expecting to go full gremlin mode, because you're like, it's not the full story, so it's not going to have any problems. And I'm like,
There's gonna be lots of problems, pal.
yeah, just if your table wants the game to be run on hard mode and they want to make everything difficult during the tours, you're welcome to do that. That's your table, that's your problem. So, once the scene, individual tour scene comes to an end, it will be wrapped when either you hit a good narrative standing point or the answer to the question has been resolved and then you kind of fade to black. Note down any newly established characters, connections, points of interest, things that might be applicable later on, just so you have it for reference for later. And then you'll continue on to the next person, start the cycle up again of picking a site, figuring out a question you want to answer, doing the scene, continuing on and on. The next player may wish to investigate the same site as the previous player with a different question. So if you want to really dig into a certain site, in particular, that's fair. If you want to explore a bunch of different sites, that's also entirely fair. Do what you're gonna do. Since these scenes may be quick, they're supposed to be kind of quick little vignettes. Your sessions may go through a few cycles of doing this with all the players before you're actually done.
I like that.
Yeah. When you are done with the session, have the players highlight which part of each other's sites that they find interesting. This will be a secret tool for later.
Ooh, a secret tool for later.
Let your players tell on themselves and then weaponize it for fun later.
I do like fun.
I want to real fast read off a couple of the example questions because I've been trying to think of okay, what kind of questions we have. So level 1 dot is current events, things like what event is happening in 3 days. So we could find out there's a show. We could find out there's a cartel drop off, those kinds of things.
There's a big name character coming into the city. And...
Yeah, there's a meeting or the next Elysium's about to happen. 2 dots is residents and groups. The one that I really liked is who isn't supposed to be here. I like that one a lot, actually. Right?
Turns out the answer is you.
Oopsies. Let's see. Another one is which 2 groups are on the verge of conflict. That one's pretty cool. And then the 3 dots are things like who knows I am connected to the place I want to keep secret. Yeah, so that's kind of neat. We could accidentally have homie who like the Nazi who lives in the tunnel, like the sewage tunnel under the bridge near your Touchstone's coffee shop, they see you go in there. Uh-oh, whoops.
I was just taking out the trash, man.
Right, yeah. Totally. You were taking out the trash every Thursday for the past 2 months. I
Oh,
totally
I was meaning
believe
the
you.
touchstone was like, I don't know, man. I was taking out the
Oh.
trash, and then the sentient beehive in a trench coat just nope. Like he's a fucking, like he's the clown from the book.
Love it. Love it.
Oh.
Okay. No, the last one on the three dot I like too, actually. Are there weak spots in the building? So if it's like your haven and you're doing a thing
Mhm.
over, or your shared business
Mhm.
that someone's focusing on, I like it. Anyway, those are some
Yeah.
examples.
Yeah, I fucking love this. I want this. I wish this was around when V5 initially dropped, because I have found a common problem whilst playing this game is people will make the coterie will be made up of a bunch of cool characters, and everybody will agree that they're supposed to be working together, but they don't have connections really well established.
Hmm.
So it makes it hard for players to act as a cohesive unit, which can be narratively interesting. I find it eventually just leads to like a weird level of fatigue is the best way to explain it. Because everybody's just like, we're supposed to be working together. Why are we not working together? Where? So I think a system like this gives people reasons and spaces to explore why people have certain character interactions and thoughts and feelings, and I just love establishing petty shit. I just think it's fun.
It's
Uh
a good time.
like one character really likes feeding in one club, one character likes feeding in another club, and they're constantly arguing on like which place we're going to every night. uh and yeah, I just love the shit out of this mechanic, and it's like I know it's in the horror book. This doesn't necessarily have to be a horror tool, but I think it's also a good way to establish boundaries and like plot hooks and little Chekhov gun moments,
Hmm.
so that there's like foreshadowing for things to come.
Bum bum bum
Bum bum
bum.
bum. All right, so gonna power through some sections of note. The Masquerade Machine is a whole chapter based on how maintaining the masquerade, especially in a time of like a lot of tech and high surveillance, has become even more of a meat grinder slog than
Mm-hmm.
it has been in past centuries. There's also a bunch of great lore drops and plot ideas for both Cambria and Anarch games. I don't want to give anything away. It's just like, this is kind of fantastic. I think even if you're just storytelling and you're not playing, if you're storytelling, I kind of almost want to have this be a required reading segment.
Okay.
Because people can run games how they want. That's fine. I think there's a weird amount of lackadaisicalness around maintaining the masquerade, particularly with Camarilla games, that I'm just like, oh no, no, no. This should be front and center.
Mm.
And I think there's a lot of really good chronicle story beats and character tropes based around just maintaining this facade. So if you need more character ideas or just antagonists or things to blackmail characters with, and I don't know, wrangle in your murder hobos.
It's a good way to do it.
This is really good consequence stick. This is so good. This is yes. The segment Skull in the Mirror details character archetypes and builds that support horrors of each individual clan with their own unique, glorious, gory, just ick.
Awesome.
It's fantastic. If you're like, I want to build a character, but I don't know what to do, this is a good supplement. This is fantastic. It gives a bunch of little ideas, little extra character archetypes, little extra lore fluff things. Fucking yes, recommend this. Uh the Dark Disciplines has got a bunch of new disciplines that may push your characters to explore their more monstrousness nature. If you want more fucked up powers, this section's fantastic.
Some of them are so
Uh
good.
yeah, we were
So
chit-chatting about these before
disgustingly
recording.
good.
Yeah. There's some amalgams in here that I'm like, oh, this kind of fucks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this kind of fucks. I'm here for this. This is a good time. We are back, baby. We are not just kissing the homies goodnight anymore. That is where we are, and I am so pleased. Uh each discipline also has a little write-up with the themes and questions to consider when the powers are being used, which I think is also really good for people who really want to get into like how fucked up Dominate is as a power. Like, I don't know how to describe people using presence in a way that would be scary. Or just like you want to think of more unique ways of trying to describe an animalism ability, because it's like, yeah, oh, you pop claws. That's such a throwaway
Rawr.
description. Yeah.
Yeah.
It gives a lot of really good little atmospheric things that you can just pop in, or things that you could throw at a player as a question and see if they bite onto that. And if they do, you go, ah, okay, well, this story is now taking a turn.
Aha.
This is what you're interested in. This is what's spooking you. Fantastic. What if I were to needle this more? The Horrors of Humanity. This is a breakdown guide for digging into convictions, touchstones, ambitions, stains, loss of humanity, and all the terrible natures and powers of vampire blood in the context of a horror narrative.
Yay!
I feel for a VTM game, this is also should be required reading. If you are STing, please read this section. It is really good. Shades of Darkness is a breakdown guide on various subgenres of horror and how storytellers and players can engage with these themes for their games. So
I love that.
This was really good. As somebody who is a horror nerd, I enjoyed this. Was very, like, you could tell it was written by people who really love these subgenres and really want people to like get into it. So a lot of it is baby's first exploration into like folk horror or psychological horror or body horror. So it's a good jumping off point if any of these subgenres interest you specifically. We could go back to the horror subgenres in VTM series and dig into that more. I would just need to know what directions folks would want us to go in.
Because there are many.
There are many. There's also storytelling horror. There's loads of great info for storytellers new to running games for smaller groups. One-shots with a specific tone and building rapport with your table for more intense scenes. I think that's fantastic. Supporting suspense on pages 163 to 65 and setting and story pages 65, 67 have a bunch of really solid basics information for nearly all horror media. So if you're just, if you can take, like, that's a section of this book that I'm like, honestly, I think you can lift that and drop it into any other horror tabletop game. Really solid info there. This is like meat and bones of I want to be a better storyteller kind of things. And I'm like, these are really good. I think people need to read this shit. Please. So, yay! That's Tattered Facades. Give them your fucking money, please.
It sounds rad. I need to go through it and read it more.
Yeah. I, up until this point, I had been reading it in chunks as I needed for the show. I actually sat down and read it cover to cover, and I'm just like, this is honestly one of the most well-rounded tabletop, like, reference books I've read in a hot minute, and thank God for that.
Hell yeah.
Like, if you want to do ooky spooky shit, there's a bunch of stuff for that. It also, in the storytelling section, has information for different types of play styles. So if you want to do online play, if you want to do stuff with LARPing, if you want to do stuff play by post, bunch of information. It's fantastic. I appreciate this book. As a horror girly, I'm just like, yay! I appreciate that this was giving people spaces to do really intense, actually genuinely off-putting material, but doing it in ways that respect people's boundaries and interest levels, and is like a, hey guys, you can do horror and not be an asshole.
Yes.
So huzzah. Anybody else have thoughts, feelings before I continue to ramble on like a crazy person?
I mean, I think, like I said, I really want to get actually into it. It does sound super duper cool. There are like the new compulsions. I literally just took the scroller and stopped, and it landed on new compulsions. And I'm like, yo, yeah, that actually randomly picked is something that actually sounded really interesting, and I'd be like down to read. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like funny,
Yeah.
random shit, and I'm still finding useful or interesting stuff.
Yeah, just crack it open kind of anywhere, and you're just gonna be like, oh, neat.
Level 3 Oblivion ceremonies. Here's a spoiler, guys. Sorry. Level 3 Oblivion ceremonies. First thing, craft flesh golem. What the fuck? Hell yeah. I'm so in.
Yeah. This doesn't bode well for future projects that I'm going to be putting some people's characters through, but it's fine. It's fine.
Fine.
Hunter, did you have anything you wanted to throw in?
Not particularly. I do think this book is an interesting mix of player and GM content.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely some stuff in here as a GM I might be like, don't read this section.
Like, I'm using this.
But no, this is an interesting book. It's definitely a very utility book. It kind of does things in a way I wish some of the Hunter books would do more, because it's not like straight up full adventures for like half the book or whatever, but there's just like a lot of like hooks and ideas. And like even if your players do like read like the paragraph or page about some of this stuff, you could definitely still use these and surprise them and not just give away the whole just because they kept reading in the book where they went to find like a specific power they wanted. So that is
Hell
neat.
yeah. Yay. Again, we'll never stop praising the, oh my god, they actually put page references in this bitch. Ugh.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's nice. There's updated tables. I'm just excited about the utility things where I'm like, finally some good fucking food. Not that things haven't been good. This just is a book that does a good job of filling in some content gaps that I know people in the community have bitched about. So, yay. It's here now, guys. We have other things to bitch about now. Hooray. Well, I guess on that positive review, thanks Paralyze for the music. Go support them on Bandcamp. Actually, just go get Bandcamp.
Yeah.
They support some of your favorite artists or new favorite artists that you will discover on their site, and they don't do AI bullshit, so woo. We have social medias. We've been bad about posting on those. We're trying to get better at it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But if you shoot us a message on Instagram, TikTok, or Blue Sky, we will say hello and things, and feel free to rope us into things as needed. It sucks that we exist in a medium where people are like, we need you to post things on social media, but all three of us just have a deep-seated disdain for
I don't want to.
I just don't remember. I got ADD. That's a lot to ask of me to remember to do anything. You're lucky I show up for this.
Truly. We do have a Patreon. If you support the work that we do, we appreciate you. You allow us to get the books for the research for the show and the hosting cost and equipment upgrades, and we are trying to get everything caught up for the patrons, including bonus episodes. We are working on getting that going. I owe you guys some photos from my adventures in Prague. I have some adventures in Scotland I need to also set up for WAD usage. The show notes, lots of goodies. You can go check it out. If you want to hang out with the community, we have our little community Discord that folks come in and hang out in and share information and things. We're not sure what we're gonna do about the Discord fuckery at the moment. Still trying to figure that out. Everything is dumb. But if you want to come hang out and say hello and share your stories or run games and things in the Discord, do it. We appreciate your faces there. Interview series, we do that. If you have a cool project you want to share with the world, with us, blankbodies at Gmail, we'll talk to you about your cool stuff. Anything else?
If you're a real vampire, you should probably hit us up. I've been waiting patiently. I'll continue waiting patiently, or I'll do my best. But goddamn it, hit us up.
We'll have to get him more ice cream.
I have found the story of a real vampire.
Oh my.
So we might dive into that when next time Sarah needs a break. Probably when next time Sarah's extended traveling. I have quite the story lined up, but
no.
Unfortunately I won't be able to have them on the podcast, I don't think. So
probably not. It'll probably be for the best that we don't have them on.
We'll see.
Jesus Christ, Hunter. Why? I don't want to be on more watch lists. I'm so good.
Well, at this point, I'm going for a high score more than anything. I don't know.
God damn it. Please get us out of here.
All right, bye. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
I love you.